just consider me a walk-in billboard for those margaritas. Nevertheless, I persisted.
October of 2007. I am as excited as I have been about a job in my entire life. For the first time in my life, I am not getting promoted from within. I have been hired to do a job that is, frankly, above my pay grade. It's going to be really cool, just as soon as I figure out what it is. And I meet people and do things, and it's going to be really good. And having studied all of the finest managers and leaders of our eras, I have done the appropriate thing, and out of a flurry of anxiety, I have bought 21 pairs of socks in case I need them. So I walk into Athens Regional, and I go to new employee orientation. Some of you may not have worked in a large hospital system. There's a lot of stuff that you need to talk about. Things that you are used to seeing in regular corporate organizations. Also, how you keep patients safe and all this. It's a lot. It's all really important. It is a bit dry. And it takes forever. I remember, and I think you can check me about this, if I remember correctly, the acronym RACE is what you use for a fire alarm, and it stands for Rescue, Alarm, Cry, and Eat.
Yes.
Okay.
And put a pillow over the cleared rooms.
Yes.
So you can take a nap after you eat. Yes.
So, I'm there. I am excited. I am thrilled. I am bored. And I am in a conference chair, which, as you know, has been designed to stack, not to sit on.
So I showed up that morning, also a little bit discombobulated, not like this, but different. And they put me on right before lunch because I'm funny and I'm, everybody look at the dancing bear. But I was also a little freaked out because I too had 2 new jobs that day. I had been with Athens Regional for 10 years, and I'm still with them. But I had 2 very important new jobs. One of them, I was a brand new mom. I had a 4-month-old baby at home. And if y'all have been working moms before, especially breastfeeding working moms, I showed up at that conference room with my lunch and a cooler and a pump and I was keeping it all together and everything's fine. So I started my speech to this room full of people to say, y'all, please give me some grace today. I did not get a lot of sleep last night because I have a brand new baby at home. And everybody went, oh, and it was great. So that was my first new job. My second new job was I had just agreed to be the employee chair of our philanthropy committee, which is called GIFT. It stands for Getting Involved for Tomorrow. And we raise millions of dollars to extend healthcare out into the community. I had fallen for this hook when I was not thinking straight. Because previously we had raised money for things like a mobile mammography unit, an ambulance, a suite at the guest house. So of course, when I agreed to be the chair, they were like, okay, great. You're gonna raise $750,000 endowment. Endowment is the most boring thing you can raise money for because there's nothing you can put a plaque on or anything like that. So I was like, great, okay, this is great. So I show up at new employee orientation right before lunch and I start giving a speech that is all about raising this money to endow the programs at the Lawrence Smith Center for Cancer Support. Now, I see people nodding, that's good. If you don't know Lawrence Smith Center here in town, bless you, that means you've never been affected by cancer. The Lawrence Smith Center is there to provide support or wraparound services to anyone who is facing a cancer diagnosis, even if they don't get treatment at Athens Regional. So it was a cause I really believed in. So even as rattled as I was, and as bored as they all were, I started giving my speech and I talked about yoga and Reiki and grief support groups and how awesome it is, and Marty's nodding. These are very important things. And then I decided to be a little bit vulnerable, and which is not easy for me, believe it or not. This is all a show. I said, I have donated to the Lawrence Smith Center for the last 10 years because I understood its mission. But a couple of years ago, it got really personal for me when my fiance was diagnosed with leukemia at 37. And overnight, our whole life exploded. And I didn't know what to do. So I got up from my desk one day at the hospital. I stumbled down the sidewalk. I went through the front door of the Lawrence Smith Center, and I fell into the arms of Susan Nimitz. I hope y'all know her. She's a certified oncology nurse and multiple cancer survivor herself. And Susan kind of guided me through my fiance and then husband's illness. And staring out into this dark conference room, it was like, okay, that's enough vulnerability. So I said, so I'm going to quit talking now, and I hit the play button on a video of other employees talking about the Lawrence Smith Center, and I walked to the back of the conference room.
And I stand up because my hips hurt and I'm gonna fall asleep, and it's dark. So I walk to the back of the conference room, kind of stretch my legs, stand close to Ashley, and lean over and go, I'm really glad that your husband got better. Mine didn't.
And I said, actually he died. And this was the first time I saw Heather make the face of mortification. And I got embarrassed too for her. And I got a little bit embarrassed for myself because I was a widow, but I also had a baby. And so I started whisper explaining to her the last 3 years of my life in the back of new employee orientation. And I'm like, well, I mean, see, he had a horrible form.
I'm so sorry.
I know. You get it. But he died, and I felt really, really bad for a long time. But then, I was only 37, and I know. But this is somebody else's baby. But it's we're all cool with it. Let's just. You get. Yeah. Okay.
But in this, and this is the only time I ever have to identify myself as the elder between us. I'm the elder widow. And if you are a young widow, you understand that there are a series of questions that must get asked and answered. How long has it been?
It's been 3 years.
It's almost 6 for me.
Oh my God, you were young.
Yeah, we were 28 and 32. How about you?
Jesus. Yeah, 36, 38.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, are you doing okay?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, when you feel so bad that this horrible thing happened. But now it's everybody's oh yay, baby, yay. It's kind of I feel shitty.
Oh no, don't I'm married again. It's weird to be I'm married and I have a dead husband. It's weird to tell stories. It doesn't ever get any better. That part doesn't get better. Were you surprised?
No, we had yeah, you didn't expect to get that call. We didn't know he had cancer. For the first couple of days, I would only let people say he has leukemia, because cancer, he had leukemia, he didn't have cancer, but it turned out he had cancer. So yeah, there was a lot of mental gymnastics. What happened with your husband?
There was medical error. It was a mess. But he added to science. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I think is the video almost done?
Oh my God. Okay. I'll stay after. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
So yeah, the video stops. And I just had this moment that I never expected to have on a Monday morning when I was all rattled anyway. And so I very carefully pulled it together, and I went to the front of the room, and I brought the lights up, and I said, thank you for listening to that powerful testimony about the Lawrence Smith Center, and I hope you will join us in our mission to spread care to the... I did not know what I was doing. Because I did recognize in that moment that this was going to be someone incredibly special to me. And she has been, spoiler alert. But I think what was magical about meeting Heather is it is really odd to be a widow in your 20s or 30s. And there's nobody to talk to about it. There's people who have had 50-year relationships and then they lost their partner. But there's very, I'm getting vulnerable again, oh God. It's very rare to find someone who has also had to grieve a spouse and the life you were supposed to have with them. And it's weird to find people who can give you permission for that when you have moved on and you are happy, but you still have this grief that you're carrying. And I think the reason, don't look at me. I think the reason I trusted Heather right away was that she was so vulnerable, that she trusted me with her own pain, and she offered it up first to make sure I understood that it was safe to show her mine. She's really awesome, y'all.
Actually, it's really funny.
So I chose this t-shirt because even though our friendship started off a little wonky, nevertheless, we persisted. Thank y'all.